All right, let's go ahead and dive right in here. Today is Monday, June 3rd. June 3rd, 2024. The look on my face is because this year going so darn fast. So let's go ahead and too fast if you ask me. Let's go ahead and dive in. I just want to do a quick morning review. It's around lunchtime here, Central Time in Austin right now. Let's just do a quick morning review of what has happened in the futures markets today, mostly the indices, which is where I focus mostly. That's where my attention is, on the indices. What we're looking at here is a 5-minute chart of the NASDAQ dating all the way back to May 29th. Just an FYI, and this trading platform is Trade of 8. So what has been going on? We have major economic news throughout the week. Last Friday is really when that news started to roll out, starting with the PCE. It was cool, is what my understanding of that PCE rating was. But just looking at this 5-minute chart here on the NASDAQ index, which you can see right up here, this area right here is Friday. This is Friday. So this is ridiculous movement. Although, especially with the NASDAQ and the indices, movement like this, volatility like we see here, where we're flat heading into Friday, we shoot up after that news comes out and into the open of Friday. Let me make this a little bit bigger for us here. So flat heading into Friday, we shoot up after the news comes out, and then whammy, and really nice move to the downside. And then through the afternoon, we just move right back up, and we actually end the day slightly positive. So Friday was a very fun and interesting day. Long story short, now what's happening? So we open up yesterday, and we're just slowly staying above VWAP, which is again, this is a 5-minute chart of the NASDAQ. We're staying above VWAP, which is this gold line here. And we're even, for most of the night yesterday, we're staying above this 50 simple moving average as well, which is the red line that we see. For me, I do use the moving averages, obviously, which is why we see these lines here. So this blue line is on a 5-minute chart, the 200-day simple moving average. I have a VWAP here, which is the gold line, and then I have a 50 moving average here, which is the red line. On a 5-minute chart, what I like to do and what helps guide some of my trading is the crossover of the 8-day simple moving average, which is this green dashed line here, and the 21 simple moving average, 21-day simple moving average. When these cross over, like on Friday, see this crossing right here, blue crosses over the green. Well, that would signal a upward move. There's some upward momentum there because this moving average is crossed over. So if I wanted to enter a position, I would go long. Another example, but in the opposite direction would be here, right? So we have the blue, which is the 8-day simple moving average, crosses below the green line here, which is the 21-day simple moving average. There's a cross to the downside, and so if I wanted to enter a position, I would enter into a short position there. Anyways, let's go back and see what's happening today. So today we have some economic news that came out this morning, and flat heading into the morning. We see the market moving up again, and then now we're moving down. Okay, exactly what's happening here. I know, very in-depth and complicated analysis right here. We move up, and now we move down. But what I wanted to really highlight here, going back to these moving averages, and one of my strategies is look at how well this strategy works, the simple moving average crossovers. So we're, heading into the morning. First of all, something that I notice here is this 50-day simple moving average. The market bounces off of it, bounces off of it, bounces off of it, bounces off of it. So this is, what that tells me is that we have some very basic momentum heading to the upside. In the morning, we move up, then we see all these wicks kind of pushing us down, and then wham, we move. We have a decent move to the downside. But look here, let's make this even bigger for us. There's that crossover. There's that crossover. The 8 simple moving average crosses over the 21 day. And then what happens? We're just moving to the downside further and further. And something else to highlight here about this is that after this crossover happens, we have a nice move from here, about 18,700 area, and then we push back up, and this candle right here around 1035, it kisses the 21-day simple moving average, and then we move further down. So we're bouncing the 21 SMA here is acting as resistance, right? We tap it, move down. We tap it, move down. Well, not exactly tap it, but we get very close. Tap it, move down. So the crossover works if, for the most part, in my opinion. It puts probabilities in our favor, whether you're going long or short, or if they're really just kind of very close, the moving averages are just very close to each other. Yeah, we're moving to the upside here, but this is just consolidation, right? For the most part, we're kind of moving up, but this is consolidation. So here, when these moving averages are really close together, maybe you don't want to enter into a trade at all. So now we're down to just over 100 points in the NASDAQ, and it looks like we want to move further down. Let's go up to some higher time frames and see where we might be going. So when I see this movement to the downside here, which, by the way, going back just real quick, going back to these moving averages on a 30-minute chart, so a bit of a higher time frame, this blue line is the 200, the 200-day simple moving average. What do we see? We see the market coming into it, just poking up right above it, and then moving away from it to the downside. So, all right, a very brief intermission there and take a call. So let's wrap up this analysis. So it looks like the markets might be bouncing, by the way. We came into this area here, 18,474. It's 11:37 Central Time. So let's see if that's the move to the downside for the day, and we start pushing back up here. Anyways, higher time frame. I believe the last thing I was talking about here was that this blue line is a 200-day simple moving average. We're on a 30-minute time frame. What do we see? Market pushes up into it, and we move to the downside. That is not bullish. That is not bullish. So we'll see what happens from here, right? Like, who knows what could happen? We could move further down. We could just consolidate here for a while and then make our next move. But what I see after this morning is a market that pushed up into the 200-day SMA on a 30-minute time frame and moved back to the downside. After a move like this on Friday, one thing to consider, like, we can put fibs on here and see. So from this move all the way kind of back up into this area here, where are we right now? Okay, again, 30-minute time frame. So you take our fibs from the bottom of this move here from Friday and trace it back up to the top and where we reversed this morning. And right now we're right in the middle at this 50% mark. So did we retrace 50% of this move from Friday and now we move back up? As of this very moment, yes, that's what we did. So we'll see what happens from here, but that is the stack. The other markets that I look at are the S&Ps. So 5-minute, looks like we might be reversing here after the move down. One thing that's interesting to me from this morning is that S&Ps and the NASDAQ are doing the same thing, right? This looks similar to the NASDAQ chart. Friday, up, down, up. flat overnight, down this morning. Now we're pushing back up to the upside, exactly what the Nasdaq was doing. So that's something to keep an eye on and be aware of. And then the Dow acted a bit different last week on Friday, right? So on Friday for the Dow, we actually went sideways and then up, right? We didn't make a huge move down on Friday. This is from Thursday. The Dow was kind of leading the markets lower all last week. And then Friday, there was consolidation sideways and then up, right? We didn't really move down Friday and then up. We just consolidated and moved up. So the Dow was leading the markets to the upside on Friday. Anyways, now we're down over 400 points on the Dow. Interesting stuff. And this is from this morning. This is a 30-minute chart. So we'll see where we end up. But as of right now, down 80 in the Nasdaq, down 34 in the S&Ps, and down 400 in the Dow. So market's lower this morning. We'll see how this afternoon goes.